So welcome to the very last DONNYCHAINGANG for the 2020. It is myself, Matt Payne, here for the rest of what is left of the year. Hopefully you're going to be on the bike and watching this live. If you're not, and you've been out enjoying yourselves, I hope you had a really good evening. Not sure this is the best thing to watch at the end of a day, but we shall see. We are going to be heading up onto one of my least favourite climbs in the world ever.com, which is the Outdoors on Road to the Sky. And we are going to be bringing you all of the action, as always, on the Downey Cycling YouTube channel. Russ and I, when we started off back in lockdown number one, never ever thought we would be in the situation we're in now, which is seeing what is an approaching lockdown. I think again, number 3. This is, although I'm starting to lose count in fairness, and we never thought we'd have so many people coming. I mean, even when we talked about doing things like our specials over the break, the so-called break that we were going to get in Christmas to New Year, we never dreamed we would have well over 170 riders on the women's special. And on tonight's, well, it depends if everybody actually manages to log on. And at the moment, I think we're heading for well over 200 due to be on the start line. But whether that is actually the case, we will find out. Also want to say a few other quick thank yous. Of course, a big thank you to Dean, who has been in the background and has ridden a number of the chain gangs. A big thank you to all of the gang here where I am, and that is to Emma, Tim, Freya, who have to put up with the studio and me disappearing off down into the studio cellar for days on end, trying to make sure everything's up and running. And of course, a massive thank you to Russ. Russ and I have been talking all the way through 2019, the back end of 2019 and the early part of 2020 about putting the chain gang on to Zwift and doing this, and it has turned out to be more than we could have ever expected. So a big thank you, a massive thank you to everybody who's donated as well. But of course, that is down to you, and without your support, we certainly couldn't have made it happen. And it is all of you guys that's a community. We are going to be going across to Russ in a little while. I'm just going to let him get himself all sorted out. I think he's all ready and warmed up. I think he's also been out doing that strange pursuit called walking, but let's see what he has to say for himself when we go over to him. A few other quick thank yous. Everybody who's been a beacon, everybody who's been on the tech side, anybody who has been in the background with spreadsheets, etc. There's so many people, and it is a community, that is for sure. And I must admit, I have enjoyed watching the social media over the last few days. That is without a doubt. Now today, this is a special, and this is something that a lot of our chain gangers have asked for repeatedly. So don't blame me, don't blame Russ. This is all down to you guys out there. We just happened to decide this was a good time to make it happen in this period. And when I talked to Russ about putting it on, he was like, you must be kidding. But do you know what? He's embraced it. He thought he was going to have a week off and not ride it. He decided to do it. So without too much further ado, let's hit the right buttons. I'm going to make sure I can hear Russ with the studio headphones here. So let's see whether we can get Russ on the magic that is the calls.
Good evening.
So hello Russ, how are you doing?
Well, you've just actually panicked me into putting all this hype around this, that and the other to actually putting some lube on my chain. So that's just what I'm actually doing.
Yeah, we can hear it in the background.
I think it's one of them panic things that you do when you think, yeah, well, I was going to swear then, but no, I better not. But,
no, it's a family
like
show.
you did mention that, yeah, I did a 15k walk earlier, and yeah, walking and bike riding doesn't mix, but
15k
yeah,
in the snow. Are you mad?
In the snow with a dog. So I don't know what's hurting most, my legs or both my shoulders, wrecking my collarbones even more.
That's only 3k short of today's ride. I think that's got to be a first, hasn't it?
Yeah, I was going to round it up and just go around the block and just do, call it a recon, but I thought that would wreck me. I'd be asleep on the settee by now.
I'm not surprised. But and
yeah,
we've got some big numbers if everybody actually manages to click in and ride, because I have seen some numbers around about the 200 mark. Is that right?
So 200 on the old companion app, but
wow.
Maybe a few of those people that have signed in, I forgot they've actually signed in because they've maybe started celebrating too early. But when we chatted about this, you told me to have a night off, and I was like, hey, come on, I'll do it. And then the numbers have just been rising all week, and yeah, why not finish the crazy year on a high, and let's go up to Alpe d'Huez, which I've done once in real life in the Dauphiné, and yeah, it wasn't nice then, so it's not going to be very nice tonight, but surely it'll be good fun.
I'm sure it will, and I think your duties are going to be quite short relatively. I think it's 5k from the start to the beginning of the climb, so hopefully you won't have to work too hard tonight.
No, hopefully I can just. It's slightly downhill, I think, to the start, so that's definitely right up my street. So we can go to that. Wait the go, which I won't be holding it back for long. I'll just be like, right, go on then, fill your boots, ride the climb, and I'm going to have a social evening for once, I think.
Yep, I think that makes sense to me, and it's going to be really good to see everybody out there. I know it's going to split everybody up. I know there's a few groups planning on riding together, so we're going to try and focus on everybody as always on the YouTube channel, and we want to say a big thank you to everybody who's subscribed to the Downey Cycling YouTube channel. It's great to see those views, those numbers going up week on week, and we're now getting thousands and thousands of views. It makes a big difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, that shows gone from strength to strength, and it's all good. Like I said, keep subscribing, guys, and we'll keep providing the goods, and it'll only get better and better if we keep getting more subscribers.
Yep, definitely. That is the plan. So, Russ, I might let you off early today because with 4 minutes to go, that gives you plenty of time to tell everybody just how big this hill is.
Yeah, I can turn all my volumes up and things on that now, so I can't hear my legs squealing. I can just hear noise. So yeah, looking forward to it.
What tunes? First tune up on the playlist tonight?
I wouldn't know. I think it's just going to be some Dance Nation noise, really. No tunes to call. Just rather listen to you, Matt. I'm going to turn the YouTube up now and listen to you, and turn my volume down on my iPad.
Excellent. Well, good luck, mate. Rather you than me riding up there.
There we go.
Tunes there we go. Excellent.
Tunes are on.
Well, have a great new year. Enjoy the climb, and we'll be watching.
Yeah, and thanks ever so much, everybody this year.
It's great to hear from Russ, who was just getting ready to jump on to the bike. So great to hear from Russ. And it looks like we are just about all ready to go. Just keeping an eye down on the pens there. Just keeping an eye to see who's up to the chat board. Looks like Bruce Rollins and a few others. Let's show you what we're going to be doing out on the course. And I can lose these, thank goodness. Always good to get the cams off. It has to be said before the ears disintegrate. So we are going to head across and let's show you where we're heading. It's one of the courses that we've all ridden and we all try to avoid, like the plague, unless you're after the wheels. We're heading to Autopia, my favourite world. We're heading into the road to the sky, which includes Alpe d'Huez, which is the replica of the Alpe d'Huez. Now, this is a really, really tough climb, and we get a little bit of a run in, which is great to see. And that is going to be absolutely critical for everybody. And let's show you what that is going to translate to. We have our yellow beacon, Russ Downing, a.k.a. the bear. Don't poke the bear, although tonight you might as well, because you're going to get that far to go before you're going to get let loose. Our red beacon is a rider who came on and swore never to come on the ride again after the number one time out. He's back on, Miss Cookie, Sarah Grimshaw herself, on the ride, and great to have Sarah being our red beacon. Leading tonight is 0.1k, that's basically out of the pen and turn right on the junction. As you come in, you're just going to dive off to the side. It's really quick and simple. It is down in through road to ruins and up we go up the Alpe d'Huez with the climb. It's road to the sky route, and we are going to finish at the top of the climb, not the blue banner. for everybody who keeps on sprinting for blue banners. They vary from rider to rider on ride, and they do vary in terms of distance that shows. So what we always do is fix a point on the road, a fixed banner that everybody knows exactly where it is. It's not going to change, it's not going to move, it's going to show on your screen. Even if you drop out of the event, it's always going to be there. So we're going to finish tonight at the top of the KOM banner, and then we're going to warm down to the blue banner, which is going to be about another 600 metres or so. The elevation is 1,045 metres on this route, and of course the route changed slightly from when it was first introduced. We first joined it before the pens were put in, just over the bridges from the main Watopia Island, heading in towards the climb. But now we have our own start pens, and our roads are actually starting to line up and get ready. So I'm going to spear off and let's show you exactly what the route looks like. The profile is very simple: downhill to the start of the climb and then straight up the climb. And as you can see, all 21 hairpins in use as the blue dot makes its way up the 18k. It's the shortest Donny Chain Gang in terms of distance we have done, but it is going to take a while. We are going to try and cover absolutely everybody. Now, it looks all very well on the graphics there, but let's show you something probably a bit more descriptive in terms of the profile. The Out to Zwift, you can see the section there shown on the Zwift Insider graphic, but we'll use the VeloViewer graphic, which is this one, and that really does say everything. VeloViewer can so accurately show all of those steep steps with the different colours on the graph. Make sure you go on there, get that pro subscription done. The graphics are absolutely superb, and that is why we use them, and it is critical to get yourself in, get all of that information, all of that dialed in. Our riders up and riding, heading out from the start now, and let's just take a look out on the course. So remember the graphic, remember how steep it is, remember how long it is. It's all about just rolling in as one blob into the start, and we are very shortly going to be heading out on to the course and checking out how everybody is getting on out with the riders. So our riders out on course, everybody keeping the legs ticking over by the look of it, and let's just see how it is rolling. So at the moment the riders out on course, and it is looking definitely like the riders out there just in with Miss Cookie. The riders hopefully all sitting together out on the course. Big pack of riders on the way down the slope heading in. And the aim is to hit the line all together. No point going mad now. We've got a number of riders just trying to catch on to the group. So let's head out across. Everybody already up onto the course, so let's head there. And Matt Payne will be bringing all of the action as the riders head out around the route. So remember, the aim is keep with yellow until we hit the bottom of the climb, and it looks like it is already rolling out there. And Zwift looking like it is pretty manic. So let's see just what happens as this progresses onwards. So here we go, just keeping an eye on the riders now. And we can see everybody is keeping it together at the moment. It is looking pretty smooth out there. So everybody at the moment nailing it, coming around these corners, coming around the turns. It is going to be interesting to see just who can remember how to ride with the group. We're going to just drop back into our yellow beacon. We're just going to find Russ, who is somewhere in the middle of this pack. It's not necessarily the easiest thing in the world to catch him at the moment, because all of the riders out and riding, but just jumping in with the bear. The aim is to get on to the climb at the same point. Remember, we will be covering this in terms of the riders' time. We have the riders going to be coming up on the screen. Nice to see that Russ has got his New Year's hat on as well. and just down on to the gravel at the moment. Plenty of dust being kicked up. Remember, of course, you're only going to see the 100 riders around the rider that we are showing, or around yourself if you are watching live. Bruce Rawlinson just in with the group, Darren Billings in here, Sean Ferran as well, and at the moment he's lobbing up. We're just on our way down and in. Remember, we've got plenty of distance to go. We're just going to try and keep an eye on everybody in here. It is going to be really busy out on the chain gang, and we'll be picking people up as we go up on to that climb. Plenty of our regulars make it in here. Andy Manier's joining us though. Good to see Andy coming on, first timer. Matt Gilmore's back in as well, another regular. Simon Oxenham's in with us as well. Sounds like one or two people at the front doing the Muppet thing. It's his Muppet show at the front time. What a surprise. No point in doing 3, 4 or 5 watts per kilo at the moment on the run in. You're just going to look a pudding when you get on the hill and get what's by the really fast boys up there. The men's and women's times are going to come up, and we will be bringing you those details up on the King of the Mountains of the Alpe d'Huez Zwift. This is the Alpe d'Huez Zwift jersey that the riders get. You just see it on your left hand side of your screen as our riders are rolling down and in towards the junction. You can see it just making the way down towards the bottom. Now, we do have some new rows that have recently been added to Zwift, and you're going to see that coming up on the top of the right of the screen. You see the map zigzagging its way around. We're going to come to a T-junction that never used to be there. There's a left-hand turn, and it basically cuts the jungle loop short, about halfway across, as we start rolling down in towards the lower section. So let's have a little look. Johnny Two Dogs in the group today. So just jumping in with Johnny. Let's have a little check on what kit Johnny's riding. No, a number of our riders were out riding with the gang. So Johnny Two Dogs, Johnny Lightfoot's in this group. Finn Mansfield's joined us as well. Looks like Neil from the Crosscast is in, and Neil, another fast becoming a regular on the chain gang, and it looks to me like Neil's another rider with that party hat on. He certainly has. Good to see. Luke Stone back in with us as well. Ball is in here, and we've got Jess Learmouth back again. Good to see you back with us, Jess. So a few other faces. Some more riders coming in who were out and riding on the women's special. If you didn't see it, it was a very fast night, and very interesting to see so many riders out and picking up the chain gang. Just in at the moment with Lorna Sloan. So Lorna just joining from Scotland into the chain gang. Good to have you with us here on the chain gang. Just going to keep a little bit of a check. James Allen is here. Got to say a big thank you to Jimmy Allen from the Stellarton, and let's have a little bit of a look. Yeah, Jimmy's got his hat on as well. Jimmy all ready to go in that traditional Mondrian inspired kit, the La Vie Claire style jersey and shorts that's fast become his trademark. So just watching him drop in as a nice big bunch of riders all sitting behind the yellow beacon as they roll downhill. Now we're going to come into this right hand turn. This is the right hand turn that takes us up onto the climb, and they're going to be seeing that very shortly indeed. Just going to ride in with Jimmy Allen. Here we go, and they're busting through the section here and on to the climb. You can see the tarmac has improved. You can hear the tarmac has improved, and I can't imagine it's going to be long till we get that go. We are about to hit the indicator on the climb that we are going up the timed section. Here it comes. It's just over the rise here, so hopefully Russ is going to let everybody loose as we hit it. I can imagine we're going to get some very quick times up here on the way through. So here we go. It is go, 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 but it may be slow for a number of riders. This is where it all gets very interesting indeed. The riders are trying to push on. You can see we've got a number of people just moving the way up here. Slatter's in this group. Taylor's in here as well. You can just see the progression up the top right-hand side. It's slightly different from a normal chain gang night, because you can see we have a number of people just ticking the way up on there. So it looks like Russ just sitting around. I think Harrison Tacey joining us. So let's see if we can drop in with Harrison. Harrison Tacey is one of the fast riders who is assisting April Tacey, and great to have April on the show on the women's special. You can see just how steep this is. Harrison on the 11% section of the gradient as we make our way up onto the climb. Looks like Ollie Dawson's on here. Harrison at the moment just pushing the pedals down hard. Just going to try and string this out. And looks like Harrison pretty much heading up towards the front. He's only got two riders in front of him. And I think that is going to be Jones and Hepton, who are about 1 second in front. We're going to take a little bit of a check. So this is the group of three, and it looks like Ryan Williams is potentially going to be the rider who is right in front here. And Ryan, of course, a regular on the Donny Chain Gang. You see the pursuit coming behind. So at the moment, Ryan Williams, it is Daniel Hepton. He's got Jones in there as well. Bevan Jones behind Top Cat Tracing with Harrison Tacey, Ollie Dawson, John Wild, Simon McNamara, Johnny Atkinson, Kev Turner, Brett Doughty. Looks like George Cooper, the man who set his Everesting time in the virtual world up here, with lots of the riders from the Donny Chain Gang joining him as our riders are making their way up, trying to get into awards at turn 21, the 21st hairpin. All the hairpins on the outdoors are numbered, and you try and either ignore them or use them for motivation on the way up. It does vary a little bit on the way through, but looking good at the moment for these riders. They're just about to come onto this hairpin turn. So up and around the turn come our front three, being chased behind. So you can just see Tacey chasing hard there behind. He's leading the pack behind. And if we go up into the sky, you can just see the cloud in a little bit. Russ just below the leaders at the moment as they go up into the clouds. So at the moment it is Hepton leading this out at the moment. Then it is Jones behind him here. Chase is currently in second place, and Williams in third, Tacey in fourth, Top Cat in fifth, Wild in sixth. It looks like McNamara in seventh, Dawson just dropping back into eighth place, Atkinson in ninth, Daltrey in 10th, Toda in 11th, Cooper in 12th, Crawley in 13th, Clark 15th, Gilmore 16th, Matlock currently in 17th with Scott Easter joining us. Good to see Scott. And Scott, another of the new riders in, just rolling around that 20th position. Let's take a little bit of a look. Scott, I was expecting a better hairstyle than that, although the hat may be just containing those locks. So Scott just on to the climb. Looks like Matt Gilmore just in front here. Matt, another of our regular riders up on the chain gang, and certainly looks like he is rolling well. Riders are now scattered all the way around. Remember, our leaders are still only on the way through. So let's see how these riders are progressing as they make their way up the climb. It's certainly looking to me like it is a bit of a stretch for some riders already, and I think Russ definitely keeping an eye on it as we come round our turn here. It brings you in and through the tunnels. If we go outside of the mountain here, outside of the tunnel, you can see the gradient that the riders are having to ride up here as they head up through the mountain. Going to just try and dodge the tree with the drone. Wouldn't do to crash it tonight. No champagne and drone flying not allowed at the moment. Now let's take a little bit of a run through. So we've got Dan Hepton in 1, Jones in 2, Williams in 3, Top Cat in 4, Wild from fellow viewer currently in 5th place at the moment. Let's see how he's getting on. It's looking like he's kicking out 350 or so watts. Just going up to nearly 400 at the moment. Wild, of course, from VeloViewer, the guys who provide us with our fantastic graphics that we use, has got company, and it's Tacey who is with him at the moment. Just coming around this turn and on to the climb, taking a little bit of a run back down. Johnny Atkinson looking good in the group, pedaling now 80 revs per minute at the moment, in pursuit behind George Cooper, not too far behind. Looks like George riding well at the moment on this climb. Plenty of lightweight frames and wheels. The Mellenstein wheels, the much coveted Mellenstein wheels, only come when you've ridden this climb and been given them as a bonus, and it is a very random bonus, it has to be said. Let's see if Ben from VeloViewer has done the business and got them, because Ben, of course, the main man behind it. Rowe, look at this, he's riding on a Tron bike. Now, that's a brave move. You do lose quite a substantial amount of time riding the Zwift concept bike on this hill versus riding on the lightest frame with the lightest set of wheels. It may well be that Ben prefers the aesthetics, and he's certainly kicking out plenty of power. 169 beats per minute, 86 going up to 90 revs per minute, 245 watts or so. And at the moment, Ben from VeloViewer on there. And remember, guys, Ben and all the team at VeloViewer for supporting us with the graphics, as well as with some tech support and some donations as well. So we want to say a massive thank you to Ben and all the team at VeloViewer for their hard work, helping us bring you the graphics that we do, and supporting the chain gang from the off. So let's take a little bit of a hunt a little bit further down. Let's have a little look now. Finn Mansfield, a rider this time last year, he was battling it out in the mud and in Belgium, racing on the continent. Not happening at the moment. He's just on his way round this hairpin. Here he comes. So the Sero Cycle Division rider on his way up the climb here, kicking out 4.5 watts per kilo, 330 watts there as he came up. He's being chased at the moment by Andy Singleton. Singleton, of course, one of our regulars on the chain gang. As Sims comes through, it's going to be Singleton, our next rider, coming up and past. He's certainly looking good at the moment. Plenty more of our regulars behind Singleton, though, because looks to me like John Hine, Chris Thomas, Chris Ball, Rich Orrell right on his heels. It's only a few seconds back to Rich Orrell. So Rich in here in the green of the Zwift colours, also happens to match the Downing cycling colours in here. Now let's have a little bit of a look through. Rob Wimble's in here. Rob on the climb a little bit further down. A nice long chain of riders here. So this is going to be interesting to see just how these guys go. Let's just drop back in and make sure we hit the right section. So just in with Rob at the moment. Rob Wimble on this climb, 4.1 watts per kilo. You can see just how steep this is, though, as he makes his way up the climb. And Rob at the moment, between turns 18 and 19, are leaders, currently just clocking in past the 16th turn. Now Ethan Grimshaw is here. Ethan, another of our regulars on a Thursday, and good to see he is in action again. Ethan, one of the younger riders on the chain gang, and kicking out 200 now with nearly 300 watts as he goes on. The power of being shown on TV always tends to have that effect on people. So going well on his way up here. Let's take a little bit of a check through some more of our riders. Mel Blackford is in this group. He's not all that far away. So here's Mel on his way up. Our leader's now well past 16, heading up towards 15. Looks like Mel may well have a drop out here. So just drop in with Neil from the crosscar, just on his way up here, chasing Mason as he goes up. That's Charlie Mason. Now behind, we've got Connor Cairns in here. Looks like Craig Genford. Looks like Craig Herring, another of our regulars in this group as well. Let's take a little look. Charlotte Thompson joining us. And Charlotte on this climb at the moment. Charlotte currently sitting between turns 17 and 18. Nearly 300 watts coming out here from Charlotte. 170 beats per minute, 78 revs. Looking comfy, those revs staying nice and steady on the climb here. Looking good as she makes her way up this ascent. Currently between 17 and 18. And don't forget, of course, our leaders a little bit further up that hill from Thompson at the moment. So let's take a drop through some of our regulars and some of our new riders. Claire Richardson on the climb. Claire in this group, and currently a little bit further back, 18 going up to 17. And Claire 240 watts, 3.7 watts per kilo, moving well just behind Craig Selling. Got Rashid not all that far away as well. Looks like it's going to be a good ascent here. Claire can contain the enthusiasm to go off too hard here. It's looking like she's got good pace rolling at the moment. Going to drop across to Harley Hobbs. Another of our regular riders are getting that similar place between 17 and 18 at the moment. The leaders are a bit further up that road. We're just going to go move our way up the climb. We can't go all the way in one jump. So we're going to jump in with Pritchard. Pritchard currently between 15 and 16. Dan Hepton, though, still with company up at the front. And looks like Hepton has company with Jones. These are our two leaders at the moment now. Dan Hepton, one of the younger riders on here. Good to see. Russ has asked a lot of people, are they enjoying it? Well, it's your own fault if you're not, because you guys wanted us to do this. We've refused point blank time and time again to do this, but you know what? It is definitely going to be a tough day out for a lot of people. Tough day at the office, to use one of my traditional catchphrases. So here we go, up on to the climb. Currently our two leaders now having left turn 14, heading up towards turn 13. Russ, not happy you got your own, you got yourself to blame. Russ told you to have a day off. Said you must be nuts to ride this. So at the moment it's Hepton and Jones. Jump in with Jones now. Jones is the rider sat in here in that position. You can just see well up at the climb. You can see the yellow beacon down in the left, and the beacon at the moment is 2 full hairpin turns away from the front, and going to be heading his underneath the bridge, just heading his way up. Our two leaders, though, well in command. They've got a gap of 5 seconds to Wild. We're going to take a look. It's 2 riders chasing behind. You can just see them. Then 1 rider behind them, which is going to be Ryan Williams. So it's Hepton and Jones, the 2 up at the front here. Then it's Wild with Top Cat in 3 and 4. Ryan Williams in 5 at the moment. Hepton still continuing to keep this pace high, kicking up to 5 watts per kilo. Hopefully he knows where the finish is. Hepton, of course, notorious for forgetting where the finish is on the routes. Wonder whether he's the same when he's riding cross, whether he needs to let people tell him exactly how many laps there are to go. So here we go on to the ascent, heading up towards the next turn, which is going to be turn number 13. Hepton and Jones on the way through, kicking out big. What's Hepton's heart rate? 182. Jones's heart rate, if we flick across, 173. As they make their way up, they're going to be coming around that turn behind John Wild, 169. His heart rate kicking out 323 or 324 watts and only 56 revs per minute. That's not the fastest rev per minute, but it looks like he is working well. It looks like Williams has got back in touch, so this is 3rd, 4th and 5th position at the moment. They're going to come around this turn. It is turn 13. You can just see the triangle in the corner with the turn on it there. And the guys out and around the corner, heading up onto this next steep section. You can see top right hand side of your screen, it levels, goes down to 3%, and it soon kicks back up again as we go across to the side up to 14% on this section. Absolutely brutal. The Smart Wahoo turbos are going to be grabbing those wheels. They're going to certainly be letting the riders know that they're onto this tough section up here. So it's Wild, Williams and Top Cat, the 3 riders together. And let's see what the gap is. It's 7 seconds to Hepton and 6 seconds at the moment. So 6 to 7 seconds. They're going to see if they can keep this Top Cat looking good. Top Cat, another of our regulars, pretty much from the word go on the Donny Chain Gang back in lockdown number 1. We're going to take a little bit of a look back. There is one chasing a rider behind these 3. But that gap, it is still there. Our leader 6 seconds in front. And let's take a little bit of a look back. You can see the chasers behind. So at the moment it is Hepton in 1, Jones in 2, Top Cat in 3, Williams in 4, Wild in 5, McNamara in 6, Gilmore in 7, Tacey in 8, Manier in 9, Daughtry in 10, Dawson in 11, Easter in 12, Ben from Bellevue in 13th place, Ollie Sawyer in 14th, Matt Locks in 15th, Ryan Crawley in 16th, Johnny Atkinson 17th, George Cooper 18th, Simon Oxenham 19th with Ken Toner, I think rounding out the top 20, but those positions changing quite quickly around about the 20th position at the moment. Hepton and Jones have 6 seconds from Top Cat, Williams and Wild. It looks like Wild just feeling the pace a little bit. From our leaders, it's then 16 to McNamara, it's 49 seconds to Matt Gilmore, 55 seconds to Omanye and Tacey. Daughtry is at a minute with Ollie Dawson out a minute and 4, Scott Easter at a minute and 9. And everybody are really changing paces very quickly. Let's drop across to Ryan Crawley. Ryan, one of our newer riders in the middle of the year, settled in very, very well, looking very comfortable here. 166 beats per minute. That is not a high heart rate to say he's on such a steep section of the climb. 4 seconds in front of him is Matlock. This is what 4 seconds looks like on this climb. That's a Matlock with the light blue wheels going towards the top of your screens at the moment. Ben from Bellevue is 10 seconds up the road with our leaders approaching turn number 11. And Crawley continuing to push on Atkinson. Bradley Atkinson just starting to be distance behind. So it looks to me like Crawley sitting at a comfortable pace here. Just heart rate just climbing a little bit. 171. Nice revs. 90 revs per minute. 460 watts on his way up here, looking very, very smooth indeed. And Crawley making it onto the wheel of Matlock. He closed those 5 seconds down very, very quickly indeed. Really put the effort in. Knowing where to put your effort in on the climb is absolutely critical. Where those watts make the biggest difference, it is a very important thing to know. Exactly where you need to be kicking out the power, where you need to be pushing on to get yourself into the wheels, to where you can chase hard and actually make the difference. It is absolutely critical to get this right. Now, in the women out on the course at the moment, it is Charlotte Thompson who is leading the women up the climb at the moment. Thompson, the first woman up the climb at the moment, currently sitting between turns 13 and 14. So at the moment it is Charlotte in 1, then in 2 is going to be Richardson, Claire Richardson, 30 seconds down at the moment. So in with Claire here. So Claire in 2 at 30 seconds. Harley Hobbs is going to be in 3 at the moment. So Harley Hobbs is in 3rd position. And at the moment, working well, trying to keep that gap closed down. And at the moment, the gap between Hobbs and Richardson is only 7 seconds. So if we take a little bit of a look up the road here, let's spin our drone camera out and upwards. And let's see if we can get a view of Thompson. Thompson just coming up at the top, very top of the screen, up towards the crane. So at the moment, it is Richardson in front. It's about 13 seconds, so that could come down. So it's Thompson in 1. It's Richardson in 2 in the women's competition. Harley Hobbs is in 3. We're looking for 4th on this climb in the women's competition. I think it's going to be Ruth Taylor. So at the moment it's Ruth Taylor in 4 in that women's competition. In 5th place is going to be, I think, Lisa Leverton. So Leverton, I think, in 5th at the moment. Just trying to make sure we don't miss anybody on the way through. But I'm fairly sure it looks like she's running fairly strong. We're just going to take a double check on that. Now, one of the riders who we thought would be right up there is Jess Learmouth. It could well be that our camera just skipped because Claire is just in between 13 and 14. We will get all the times as we come in towards the end, and we will watch the riders as they come in and through the finish, and hopefully we'll be able to give you an absolutely spot on check as we go through. Let's see how Russ is getting on. Russ a little bit further up the climb. Russ currently between 12 and 11. And our helicopter just picking Russ out on his way up here. Let's take a look at Russ ticking along, 143 beats per minute. So plenty in reserve at the moment for Russ. We'll soon work out where that pace is. But I think we better go take a little bit of a trip up to the front, because it looks like there's been a little bit of a change in position. So let's dive up to the front, because it looks like Bevan has gone clear at the front. Hepton, I think, has suffered a little bit on this section. He's currently at 5 seconds back. Let's take a look back behind Jones here. The two chasers are trying to close that gap down now. This is Jones leading this out. So Bevan Jones at the moment on the front. He is certainly looking like he's able to put on a good time trialist, Bevan Jones. And it is all about getting that pace right. Currently sitting 170 beats per minute, 83 revs per minute, and 420 or so watts behind Ryan Williams, a man who we know has got the pace and the skill to get the pacing right and the climbing right. When we go up to La Red, he was absolutely superb, and it looks like Ryan Williams closing this gap down at 4 seconds now. Hepton sat on his wheel and trying to get a little bit of assistance on his way there. So Williams and Hepton need to close this gap. It's 4 seconds at the moment to Jones. And although they're doing 17 kilometers per hour, they will be getting assistance. We're right up in the clouds now between turn 9 coming in towards turn 8. It's around the shoulder of the hill. You can just about make out the edge of the hillside here as we come in and along. You can see just how long it is. So Jones in 1 at the moment, Williams in 2, Hepton in 3, and these are riders in 2 and 3. They've got to work together. Jones is pulling away a little bit again. He's now up to 6 seconds. So is this the winning move from Jones? They've got to answer this. He's come out of the clouds. You can see below him, and at the moment he's looking very, very good. And it could well be that Jones is handing it out to the two younger riders behind. Daniel Hepton and Ryan Williams at the moment are getting it handed to them by Bevan Jones. And Jones now up on to the climb there. Let's take a little bit of a look up in the sky, see if we can pick them out. So just having come round the hairpin turn, coming back towards the bottom of the screen, you just make out the pink wheels there. That is Jones in 1. Coming round the hairpin turn in 2 and 3, it's Hepton and Williams at 6 seconds. Then it's John Wild and Tomcat, who are just on the way, coming through in 4 and 5. They're at 12 seconds on our leader, but this is our leader up on the climb now, having gone past that hairpin turn, past turn 8, making his way towards turn number 7, and certainly looking very, very smooth indeed as he goes up here. So Jones is leading this out. We're going to try and get a closer look at Jones if our drone cam can just zoom right in up onto this 11-12% section of the course here. And certainly a rider who's been up here before. You can see by the mitts he's got on there, one of the prizes that you get as you come in and through. We're going to make our way up towards the Dutch corner on the Alpe du Zwift, and you know that because of all of the orange tents camped out in the snow here. Jones on his way up and still being chased. Williams and Hepton now at 8 seconds, so this move, it's certainly looking good. You can see from our camera the roads below. Just make out the yellow beacon behind Jones as he comes around this turn number 7. So as he comes around turn 7, you can just see the encampment pretty quiet at the moment. No mad fans at the side letting off orange flares because it's so cold at the moment. And at the moment, Jones looking good. 8 seconds back to the chasers behind. Let's drop in with Hepton now. Hepton and Williams is in pursuit. Hepton can see the rider in front. You can see them as well. Let's take a look from Hepton's point of view. Let's see if we can get right in his camera. So this is the view that Hepton's seeing on his screen. That's how close he is. He can see there is one rider up in front. And Hepton it is at the moment, looking like he's just pushing on. Behind him you can see Ryan Williams currently in third place on the wheels. These two riders need to work together. Jones now at 7 seconds behind them. Then it is 6 seconds to Top Cat. Top Cat's got them in his sights. If they falter at all, Top Cat could have them here, and he could be pushing his way up into a top 3 position in the overall. So it is Bevan Jones. You can just see in the distance going up towards the right hand corner. It's not one of the numbered corners because it's all part of one section on the climb. So it's Jones in 1, Hepton in 2, Williams in 3, Top Cat in 4, and behind it looks like McNamara is now up into 5th place. Here's McNamara. So it's McNamara in 5th place on the wheels here of Top Cat. So here they come around this slight bend here. So Jones 1, it's Hepton in 2, Williams in 3, Top Cat in 4, with McNamara right on his heels here in 5. Wild is not too far behind as well, looking good. So Wild not having let this gap go too far. Wild only a couple of seconds down. Then it's going to be the youngster Matt Gilmore. Gilmore pushing on here. Come on, Matt, time to dig deep here. It's not too far to the top from here, Honest Gov. Now behind it is Andy Manier. So good to see he is riding strongly. Good to see you out on the chain gang, mate. Absolutely hammering his way up here. Behind him then, 13 seconds behind, it is going to be Dowtree, and then Ben from Veloviewer, Scott Easter, Harrison Tacey right on his wheels. Ollie Dawson can just about see them. Matlock on the wheels of Dawson, as is Ryan Crawley. Then it's going to be Sawyer. So Atkinson chasing, then Toner. Kieran Brown on the mountain bike doing excessive watts here. The worst machine to pick to go up this hill, no matter what it is. Kieran being truly masochistic on his way up here. Then it's Finn Mansfield immediately behind. Then Oxenham, George Cooper, Taylor, Pritchard, Ethan Grimshaw, Luke Stone. Aaron Stone is going to be the Fonzie the Bear Downing on his way up. Our beacon looking good. So let's take a little bit of a run back up towards the very front. I'm going to drop in with Matt Gilmore at the moment, and then hop up in front of Matt very quickly in a second. So working our way back up to the front of the course. Here we go. Jones, Bevan Jones at turn 6. As Jones comes past at 6, you can see still super smooth here. 96 revs per minute on the turn there. Just revving his way around it, dropping down to 90 here. You can see the gradient has flattened out a little bit for that little step behind. The chases are coming. They're just round 6, so second, third, fourth and fifth places round that turn 6 now, as they make their way up to the top, and looking very, very good indeed. You can see the chasers behind though, and they're all coming back together again. You've got Hepton at 7 seconds, Williams at 8, McNamara at 8 seconds, and Top Cat at 9. We're going to jump back in with them. They've got 7 seconds to Jones. Jones still with 5 turns to get to the top. Let's jump in with McNamara, who is putting in a storming turn here. He has come chasing up through the field. You can see the difference in pacing techniques. Hepton is now dropped down into 4th place at the moment. So as we come on to this section, Jones with 6 seconds lead on McNamara. Then it is going to be a second behind to Williams, just taking a drink there in the blue. We're going to come around this slight bend here. It's not one of the official turns. That gap is coming down. Here's Jones in front of McNamara, and it is McNamara going to be able to go past Jones. Here is Jones going to recover because it's at 4 seconds. You can see the gap. This is going to be close as they come up this climb. Behind McNamara is Williams, so Jones round that corner. Now goes McNamara, takes the inside line, followed by Williams. So Jones 3 seconds ahead of McNamara. McNamara is pushing on 6.2 watts per kilo. It's about a watt per kilo more than Jones at the moment, and that's why that gap is coming down. It's now at 3 seconds. It's been down almost to 2 seconds, so it's ticking on. At the moment, it is next to nothing between these two. These are our two leaders. Jones in 1. It's McNamara in 2. Just behind, you can just see Williams coming. in 3. Then it is going to be Top Cat in 4. Hepton in 5 at the moment, and they're getting a grandstand view of what's going on in front. Behind them, John was closing down that gap as well. So the leader is Bevan just in the very front with the pink wheels. It is then McNamara in 2, Williams in 3, Top Cat in 4, Hepton in 5 as they keep pushing on up this slope. Now let's see what the gap is. It's 2 seconds back now from Jones. Has he saved something for the top slopes here? You can see we're up above the clouds. It is looking very, very much like the leader over the top. The winner over the top is going to come from these 5 riders at the moment. Jones and McNamara are the 2 hot favourites, quite simply because the time is running out for the riders behind to close that gap back down. We've just come around turn number 4 up at the radio mast here, up on the Alpe du Zwift, and Jones is being caught here. McNamara is on him. Here he comes, and alongside comes McNamara now. Can Jones respond to this? He's picking up the pace. Look at those watts go up here from Jones as he tries to answer McNamara. He's up at 435, 450, 470 watts. He's pushed onto the wheel. You can see it drop back down again now as he sits on that wheel. But McNamara kicks again, and McNamara has put the hammer down. He's put the boot in here. He's going to try and get rid. He's put one little kick in there, but he's got Jones back on his wheel. It's not worked this time. Underneath the rock arch we go. Remember, we're past at turn 4, and with these two looking at each other, it's given Williams a chance to come up. So it's now 3 riders up at the front. We've got 3 more official turns to the top behind. It looks to me like Top Cat is at 9 seconds and going backwards. Hepton's at 12, now 13 seconds. These are our 3 leaders. Time is ticking along. We're at 15.3k. Remember, to get to the top of the climb, we are going to be talking about 17.4 or so. Now I say or so because it does vary a little bit each time you ride this course. It's never exactly the same, and that is just dependent on where you start in those pens. So it looks to me like these 3 riders here, they're going to know this climb inside out. So you can see it. Jones at least has the gloves on from having done this before on the Zwift concept bike. So McNamara on the front at the moment in the black with the top hat on. And looks like McNamara at the moment looking comfortable. 156 beats per minute from McNamara. Jones is in second, 171 beats per minute from Jones in the blue. Then it's Williams in the light blue with the Tour de Pierre on the back. And at the moment, Williams is with 193 beats per minute. The youngster really is pushing hard here. But these 3 riders are all together at the moment, with McNamara just opening the slightest gap on Jones, who quickly responds here. So coming in to turn number 3. These are our 3 leaders. They're going to be up on to that turn. Around they go. And it's McNamara setting the pace. A slight gap. Remember, it's only 6 meters, 3 bike lengths. The draft on Zwift, and as the pressure goes on, Williams starting to drop back here. Williams is dropping a little bit. He's got to keep the pressure on those pedals here. He's got to answer Jones and McNamara. They've closed back onto McNamara as we're up above the snow line now. You can see the summit is not too far away. We've got 2 more official turns and then the long run up on to the top. But we've still got plenty of steep sections left. Remember, it's a pretty consistent gradient all the way up to the top. Top Cat currently our 4th placed rider is behind him. You can see Hepton is now at 10 seconds. Wild is sitting at 14 seconds behind. In fact, Hepton is in wild sights with Gilmore and Manier behind. But if we go right back up to the front, Jones has gone back on the front again, and he is opening up a little bit of a gap here. It's only 3 meters back to McNamara, but that can make a difference. We're going to come in to turn number 2 very shortly indeed. So the riders are working well. Here we go into turn 2. So the second to last turn, the anti-penultimate turn. The penultimate turn is going to be very soon. And the riders now coming up. You can just see the snow fencing in place. We're looking to see if we can see the riders behind on the screen there. 8 seconds. 8 seconds to the chasing riders at the moment. And it looks to me like that is going to be a big enough gap as we come round. You're just soon going to be able to see right-hand side of your screen how this is going to change. The progress is at the very top of that right-hand bar at the moment, just in with Jones sitting in wheel 2. Now, Ryan Williams has been sat in wheel 3 for a while here. He's the third of this group. You can see the rise up at front. So this is our leading 3. Williams in third, Jones in second, McNamara leading with the top hat on is Williams here on your screens, just saving something for that final run into the line. So at the moment these riders are the leaders. It looks like Top Cat putting a little bit of a dig in, trying to close that gap down. He's at 6 seconds behind. So what can Top Cat see? You can see the 3 leaders. Here we go. We're just in with Top Cat at the moment. Kicking out just shy of 400 watts at peak there. Just dropped back to 300 now as it eases a little bit. That gap is 7 seconds. The leaders are in front. They're heading in towards turn 1, the final turn. Top Cat now has got to make this count if he wants a top spot here. These are the leading riders. This is the top 3 on the climb at the moment. They've got Top Cat behind at 5 seconds now. Top Cat is pushing on here. You can see him in the distance. They're going to know how far back he is. It'll come up on their screen. But as you can see, they are going to be coming into that final turn. Here we go. Round they go, led by McNamara. And McNamara keeps pushing on. He's up at 4.9. Jones responding with 5.6. They are now starting to dig hard. Williams is putting in 5.6. McNamara's up at 6 now. Heading in for 7. Jones is responding again. Remember, we will finish when we get to the top. It's right up at the top of the hill. Try and get a view for you up there. But McNamara it is who is continuing to push on super hard here at 6.4 watts per kilo. Who is it going to come from? We're in with Jones, who's in the middle of these 3 at the moment. This is the run for the line now. This is where they've got to make it count. Jones is coming, and Jones is going to push on the side. Come on, Jones! This is a big kick now. They've got to respond. McNamara's been working so hard here. He's got to close that gap down. Have his legs gone bothered? The wheels fallen off his wagon because he's not responding to this, and it's Williams now left to stop Jones from taking this. Is Jones going to be the man who's going to take this? Remember, we have a big steep section here to finish off the climb. We're going to jump in with Williams, and Williams it is who's come around the side here. Williams now starting to open up the gap on Jones. He left it late. Has he left it to the perfect moment? The time to be on the front is as you go underneath the gantry up at the very top. And Williams is going to do this, I think. Jones has got to respond now. You can see behind the riders are scattered across the Alpe de Zwift here on the What's Open Island, and it is looking like it is going to be Ryan Williams who is going to round off 2020, the final DONNYCHAINGANG, the special edition here in Alpe de Zwift, up on the road to the sky. End the day on a high. He's certainly done that. He's ended his year on a high on the DONNYCHAINGANG, as in to the gantry comes Ryan Williams, who's going to take victory. Through the line he goes. It's 1 for Williams. Behind it is going to be 2 for Jones. So Jones comes through in second place. It's going to be a third place for McNamara, who comes in over the top. He's going into the line. Here he comes. So it's 3 for McNamara. Now it's going to be Top Cat in 4. Ryan Williams feels sick. That's the ecstasy, mate, of coming in over the line in number 1. So it is Ryan Williams in 1, McNamara in 2, Jones in 3. This is Top Cat, another of our regulars, in 4. John Wild is currently sitting in 5th place. So good to see the Velo Viewer man currently in 5th, on his way up now to the gantry. So John Wild is going to take 5th place here. So great riding, guys. So in comes John Wild. 5th place for Wild. It's going to be a 6th place for Hepton today. Great ride by Hepton. So 6th place today, taking it to the riders right up at the front. So in through comes Hepton. 6th place for Hepton as he comes in and through the line at the top of the Alpe de Zwift. Gilmore, the youngster, another of our younger riders, is going to be 7th place at the moment. So times up the climb to give you an idea. It is Williams in one with 38.34. A 38.41 for McNamara. It's going to be... for Bevan Jones in 38.41. It's 38.52 for McNamara. It's a 39.04 for Top Cat. It's 39.33 for Wild. It's a 39.51 at 6th place for Hepton. And it's going to be a 7th place for Gilmore, who's coming into the line now. He's going to be the next rider to log a time. And the time is going to be 40 minutes 36 seconds. Behind him, Andrew Manier on his way. Andy on his way up the climb. Come on, Andy. Final kick, mate. Let's see what time he's going to get. Can he beat the 45-minute mark? I think he's going to comfortably do that up here. Where will it be? It will depend on where he was on the kick into the final open section, that final neutralised section in before the start of the climb proper. So Manier pushing on here. He's up to 6 watts per kilo. Can he hold this all the way over to the line? It really does make your legs to go. Jelly, not only can he hold it, we're going to see a big sprint here. He's went up to 10 watts per kilo. Bet that hurt, mate. So Andy on his way into the line. He crosses the line, and Andy Manier pushing in for a 41.21. That's a great time. Now, Dowtry's going to be our next rider up to the line. So Brett coming through. Bet Dowtry is going to be in. He's at 5.6 watts per kilo. He's just going to crest the top of the slope here as he goes over on to the level section. So it's going to be a 9th place for Brett today. Brett comes through in 9th place with a 41.55. And looking at Ben from Velo Viewer, I think he's going to round out our top 10 here. So Ben showing that not only can he do the stats, can he do the fantastic Velo Viewer website, but when push comes to shove, he can also put the pedal to the metal and really hammer it up this time. It's going to be a 10th place for Brett. I think Scott Easter is looking like he's going to be in 11th with Matlock in 12th, but we'll get those confirmed because those places could change yet. So time for me to do some more OCE. Got plenty of fuel on board for this one. We know it's going to be a fairly substantial broadcast. So Ben from Velo Viewer now pushing on up to the top here. Ben going to round out our top 10 and not far to go. He'll have done his homework on the Velo Viewer site. So thanks, Ben, for all your support, and congratulations. Top 10 for Ben today as he comes up over the final steep section and makes the final run into the line here. Under the arch he goes. So 10th place it is for Ben from Velo Viewer with a 43 minute 15 second. Next up is going to be Easter. So Easter is going to come across in 11th place. So Easter of the Magspeed team on the climb here, complete with that New Year's top hat. You see that gradient falling away, top right hand side of the screen, going into yellow, numbers down into white and across to 0%. In fact, there's a slight downhill kick just to roll you into the line if you're really feeling it at the top. So it's going to be 11th place for Scott. Great riding, Scott. And it's going to be a sprint here, and it's going to be Crawley going to take this. Crawley's going to take 12th place. So Crawley takes 12th place there at 44.09. It's going to be a 13th place for Matlock. So Matlock takes 13th place. It's then going to be Tacey, who's going to come in for 14th. So Harrison Tacey is going to take 14th position here. So inside that top 15, 14th for Tacey with a 44.32. which means Ollie Dawson is likely to be on ride, who's going to come in for 15th. So Dawson well on his way up the final ramp here on the Albert Du Zwift. So it's going to be a 15th place as he comes in, rounding out the top 15 for Dawson. Let's see what time he's going to record on his way through. Behind, it's quite tight between Sawyer and Grimshaw, but Dawson coming through 15th place and a 45-minute 4 second time. So Sawyer up on the top here now. Let's take a little bit of a look behind. Where is Ethan Grimshaw? I think Sawyer's going to be able to hold Grimshaw off, but Grimshaw is coming hard here at 6.5 watts per kilo. Sawyer is pushing on though, and it's going to be close. They're going to run out of time, but it's going to be Sawyer who's going to get it. 16th place for Sawyer. It's going to be Grimshaw who comes across in 17th place for Ethan Grimshaw. It's going to be an 18th for Toner. So it's going to be Kev Toner in 18th. It's going to be Kieran Brown who's going to come through in 19th place. So Kieran on the mountain bike going to get a 19th place up here. So Kieran are going to come up over the top in 19th. It's going to be Atkinson in 20th position. If he can hold that from Oxenham. Oxenham's not all that far behind, but I think that's certainly doable. And it's a 19th for Atkinson. Let's have a check back. 20th for Oxenham. So here comes Oxenham now. It's going to be a 20th position for Oxenham. 21st is going to be Pritchard. So Pritchard going to come through just behind 21st for Pritchard. That means that Finn Mansfield is going to be 22nd. Then it's going to be Dean Taylor who's going to come across in 23rd. Then it'll be Aaron Stone who's going to get 24th position here, as long as you can stay clear of Russ Downing. I think it's going to be the case inside the top 25, 24th for Russ. Starting to lose count now. Too many champagnes at the end of a great year. So Russ on his way in. The Bear is on his way to the line. Well done, Russ. Not bad after walking all that distance and say you didn't really want to come and do this. You've done a great job all year. So well done, Russ. Fantastic riding. And looking forward to next year's Chain Gang. So onwards and slightly downwards, because we're going to work our way down the mountain now. It is going to be George Cooper, our next rider, making his way in to the line just ahead of Chris Thomas and John Hind. So Cooper on his way in, just pushing in and through the line. Then it is going to be Chris Thomas behind. Fantastic stuff, mate. And then behind him is going to be Hind. So John Hind coming through just ahead of Andy Singleton. Then behind Singleton it is going to be Phil Ozuke, the winner of our Oakley August, who is just behind. So Ozuke is here, but he's got plenty of company, because Rich Orrell right on his heels here. Then it's going to be True Love as well. So Ozuke holding this at the moment. A man who had a comeback from a really serious injury, came back to take Oakley August, and a great ride by Phil here, and taking those Oakley shades from 1080. A massive thank you to the guys at 1080, and of course all of the guys who supported our riders with prizes. Remember, all the sponsors across the bottom line of the screen are the ones who have been donating prizes to the riders, including the guys doing Halloween as well. Now Ozuke on his way into the line here. He is going to take that position just in front of Orrell. Orrell is being challenged though by True Love behind. So Ozuke putting in a massive kick into the line here to finish. So Ozuke goes through. And I think Ozuke is going to get a good time up here. 31st best time inside that 50 minutes. Then it's going to be a Rich Orrell who came through behind True Love as well. Neil from the Crosscast coming over the line. Then it's going to be Osman and Sims on his way in. So good to see Neil from the Crosscast in. Don't forget, latest episode of the Crosscast is out. You can download it anywhere you get your podcast from Spotify through to iTunes, as well as many others as well. Now, another rider who's who's got the confetti raining down. It is a man who's just completed his weekly distance goal as well. And that is Mr. Richardson. So good to see Keith Richardson coming in over the top, going to be in and through the line. Behind him is Mark Thwaites. Thwaites, of course, a very quick rider on the flat, and now a very quick rider up the hill as well. Thwaites, he comes through. Behind it's going to be Ball and Bish. So it is going to be Chris Ball doing the business here. So a good riding by Chris as he comes up to the line. And it's going to be Andy Bishop. Bishop, of course, being well recommended today for bike fitting in the East Midlands area. And Bishop, another rider who we've seen in action on the Chain Gang pretty much from the start. Behind then it is going to be Danger Allen from Shefrick, making his way to the line in that GB strip. So just on his way up, Luke Allen it is. So Luke now pushing up on to the flat at the top. Luke moving up the top of the hillside here. Bishop coming in with a time of 50.22. Ball with 50.07. 49 minutes for Thwaites. Behind it's going to be Mel Blackford, but Mel's got company here. And who's just come around him? It's Dickinson from Bolsover. So Bolsover, we've got to say a big thank you to the Bolsover riders. So it's been my home club. They have been fantastic supporting the Chain Gang as well. So it is going to be Dickinson, our next rider in. Paul Dickinson, if you can keep that pace up. Mel Blackford's chasing here. He's going to push him all the way to the line. Oh, so close. Mel Blackford just unable to get past Dickinson there. Next up is going to be Roberts. Going to be pretty quick on the old keyboard here. So it is going to be Llewellyn Roberts ahead of Connor Kes, David McNeil, Craig Genther, Jonathan Dibble, Sean, and then it's going to be the first of our women. So next up is Llewellyn Roberts. He's going to go across the line just ahead of Connor Cairns, another of the Bolsover riders. So Connor Cairns comes through, being chased here by Craig Genther. So Craig coming up over the top of the climb. Behind him then is going to be David McNeil. So McNeil, the rider chasing, being followed by Wilson Wheels rider Jonathan Dibble. Dibble of Wilson's Wheels just ahead of Shaz coming up next. So Shaz just on the way to the top of the climb. 1 hour's riding complete. 1 hour and 11 for the course. So then it's going to be Keenan. Sean Keenan just ahead of our female first rider. And we're going to follow her all the way into the line. Great riding by Charlotte Thompson, and going to be in with a fast time here. Charlotte, one of the many women that we've seen joining the Chain Gang, and it was a real privilege to bring you the very first women's special Donny Chain Gang, something that I've wanted to put into the schedule and see just what people could make of it. And a great ride by Charlotte here on the Out to Zwift, our first woman home, a time of 52 minutes 36.5 seconds, so 52.36 for Charlotte. Great riding by Charlotte. Behind then Rob Wimble coming through just ahead of the postie, and that is Mick, of course. Mick just clear of Goddard. Mason coming through. Risdon doing the same at that point. Greenaway on his way up, so Risdon I think is going to be our next rider to the line. So Steve Risdon chasing Chris Goddard, and good to see Chris coming through. Good time from Chris. So Steve Risdon, our next rider. Then it's going to be James Greenway, who's making his way in. So James pushing on up the hill here. James going to be, I think, just inside the top of 50. So James now cresting the top of the hill. He's just ahead of Whitlock here. Whitlock on the wheels, just trying to close that gap down. Just going to put a final push in, but I think it's going to be Greenway who's going to get it. Then Whitlock. Then it's going to be West. West comes in through the line here. James West ahead of Andy Caldwell. And he's on the climb with Jonathan Wilkinson, Jimmy Allen, Gus. And then it's going to be Harley Hobbs probably, I think. And our next female rider is Andy Caldwell. Another of our regulars going to be in up over the top of the climb as it levels off. Then it's going to be Wilkinson. So Wilkinson on that steep section here, and good to see Jonathan Wilkinson back with us again. So well done, Jonathan, coming up and cresting the top of the climb. An hour and 2 minutes on the clock. It should make it over the line just inside that 1 hour and 3 for the whole course. Then it is going to be the man from the start on Jimmy Allen standing bare when Russ was taking a little bit of time off, and Jimmy Allen on his way in, just going up over the top, and leader of course of some more spin-off rides as well. Then it's going to be Gus who's going to come through. So Gus on the top of the climb here. Gus is just ahead of Christian Rapinski. So Rapinski is going to be the next of the men over the line, but Harley Hobbs, second female here, up onto the top. Harley, a rider who's improved with every week on the Chain Gang. Great to see you riding, Harley. Thank you for supporting the Chain Gang all the way through the year from when you joined us. And Harley Hobbs is going to take second female position. And it is going to be Harley in with a 55.13 for second place here. Great riding by Harley. Just ahead of a regular Johnny Lightfoot. Johnny Two Dogs Lightfoot, the next rider in through the line behind. Great riding, Johnny. Good to see you. Don't forget, if you need a frame spray, this is the man. If you need a car spray, in fact, anything spraying, he is the man to have it done by. He's very, very good with a spray gun. Not just a sign of a misspent youth, believe me. So next in is going to be Dominic Rourke. Dominic just ahead of Matt Crease, and then it's going to be Greg Pillsworth. So Crease on his way up, chasing Rourke. Rourke, the next rider in through the line. Then it's going to be Matt Crease. Matt Crease has company though in the shape of Greg Pillsworth. Lord Greg Pillsworth. I think he's been fancying himself in the New Year's honours. So it is going to be Pillsworth chasing Matt Crease here, but. I think Crease is going to just lead them out. Ellis a little bit further back. A little bit of a push to the line, but he should hold that. Pillsworth coming strong, though. Pillsworth moving up to 9 watts per kilo. Pillsworth could take this. Oh, so close. It's Crease, then Pillsworth. Then it's going to be Ellis, our next rider in. Ellis just ahead of a third woman, and it's going to be Richardson. So here comes Richardson. It's a third place for Richardson. Claire Richardson doing a great ride in here. Third place for Claire. What time's Claire going to get? Remember, our first place was Thompson with the 52.36, 55.13 for Harley Hobbs. Richardson comes through in third place there. Then Ruth Taylor, regular Ruth Taylor, was with us all the way through the year. 56 seconds down on third place. So Ruth Taylor comes through and takes that position behind. Great riding there coming through. Now it's going to be Bell coming through, so good to see Bell come through. Then it's going to be Altaf Hussein. Good to see Altaf back from the nice trip out in the sunshine. Hope it's not too cold for you, mate, here. He was out and riding in Gran Canaria, and very jealous I was as well. So Altaf back into the Chain Gang and back in a good ride here. Next up is Lovett. Then it's going to be Ian Taylor, the man from 1080. Massive thank you to Ian Taylor. Don't forget, if you want Oakless, if you need your eyesight sorted out, if you want some great shades or just some clear lenses to stop you getting mud in your eyes, make sure you talk to the guys at 1080. There's a discount code for all Donny Chain Gangers. Okay, next up is going to be Rashid. That is going to be Shiraz Rashid. Going to give it some over the line there, coming through for a 57.53. Behind it's then going to be Taylor. So Taylor from Bolsover, that's Mick Taylor, just ahead of Alan Slatter, then Bruce Rollinson. So it's very close between Slatter and Taylor. Then it's going to be Bruce Rollinson on his way in towards the line. Good to see Bruce on the Chain Gang here. And Bruce at the end of the year coming to join us. Good to see him going up and through the line. Then it's going to be Shelley Childs, another of the riders who supported us all the way through the year. Good to see Shelley back on the Chain Gang again. Behind is John Garfer. And then it's going to be J-Mac on the way through. So Garfer following Childs on the way in towards the line. And then I think Tom Scubala is the next rider, just pushing on. So Scubala comes up towards the line. You can see Tom on his way up here, using that part. Good effect. Then it is going to be J-Mac, and this is going to be our next female rider inside. It's going to be, I think, going to be 5th place. One of our riders come off the top, so it's a 5th place in the women's ride by J-Mac. Good to see you're back after the women's only ride as well. So J-Mac comes through. Behind then it's going to be Forrester. And it's Craig Forrester. So a 5th there for J-Mac in that women's event. So then it's going to be Craig Forrester, then Tony Evans. Evans on the way to the line just in front of Brad. So Brad's our next rider going to hit the line. Then it's going to be Whitehead. Whitehead just on this steeper section. And just going to be headed in towards the line ahead of Andres of the Stellarton. So Andrew Whitehead up over the top of the steep section, going to be able to push on. Got a 5-second gap on Andres from the Stellarton. The Stellarton rider just coming up over the top of that steeper section there, ahead of Beale. So Rich here. So Rich Beale up in the steeper section, still just pushing on that final section of the climb. Rob Carlin behind. Rob are working hard all the way to the top of this climb, putting in plenty of distance and got that weekly distance goal ticked off here. Good to see Rob on the chain gang, another rider who's been with us regularly and improving week on week. Then it's going to be our man from Sherwood Pines. It's going to be Steed coming up. So good to see Steed looking smooth here from the Sherwood Pines team, just ahead of Mark Swift. So Mark Swift chasing behind Steed here. So it's going to be Swift. He's just can see the rider in front. So Steed going up and onto the plateau, being chased here by Swift. Then it's going to be Atkinson and Moore. So Mark Swift, another of our regulars, going up and over that final few meters. Just see it levelling out as he pulls up onto the top of the Alp to Swift. Behind, then it is going to be Bradley Atkinson coming through. So Bradley being chased by Andy Moore and Lone Rider. So great riding by Atkinson. Bradley on his way up. He's been chased by Moore all the way to the line, but Moore on that steeper section here. Moore has company. Lone Rider is just behind. So Andy Moore, then Lone Rider, then it's going to be Craig Sellen. These two with a reasonable gap to Sellen, but nothing much between Moore and Lone Rider. But Moore pushing on as he goes over the top here. 3 seconds back to Lone Rider. So it's going to be Andy Moore. Then it's going to be Lone Rider. Lone Rider again, another of our regulars on the chain gang. Great to see you here, mate. And the end the year on a high. He's our next rider into the line. Then it's going to be Craig Sellen. Craig, another of our riders and supporters. Great to see Craig in action. And good riding, Craig, kicking those watts out. 183 watts. Sorry, 183 beats per minute. 280, 290, 300 watts up over the crest there. Continuing to push onto the line. Craig taking it towards line. So Craig Sellen going to get a time up here. Let's see what Craig's time is as he comes into the line. So Craig Sellen comes through with a 62.33 ahead of Craig Herring. Craig, another of our regulars, fast man Craig on the lightweight frame there. And Craig Herring's going to come through. Let's see what time Craig puts in. So Craig Herring with a 62.49. Then it's going to be Wallace behind. So here comes Wallace to the line. So you can see Wallace here. Then it's going to be Tom Brennan behind. Then it's going to be Freer. So Daisy Freer putting in a great ride there, coming through. Freer is going to take a 6th woman, and Freer with 6th position, 63 minutes for the climb. And then it is going to be Femboy, followed by Julesy. Julesy just on his way into the line. Good riding with Julesy. So Julesy comes in and through the line. Good to see you in action. Another of our regulars on the chain gang, just in front of Burnley. Burnley up over the top. Lightest bike setup available on Zwift to get him over the top. Next up is going to be Tam. Tam from the Hot Roots on her way in. So Tam is going to take 7th woman on the event. So it's going to be Tam with a 7th. That's a 63 minute 45.8. Great riding, Tam. Well done. So Tam in 7th place in the women's event. Next is going to be Ian Brooks. Brooks with company though. Oh, it's tight to the line. Brooks just takes that there from John Paul Wheater. Wheater pushing him all the way to the line. Then Lisa Leverton coming through for an 8th place in the women's competition. So it's Leverton with 8th place. Then it's going to be Fryer, the next rider through. Wilkinson goes through. Good to see Vader keeping that helmet all the way to the top. Me, I'd have chucked it a long time ago. So good riding by Vader to get 64-17. Then it's going to be Swift and Lindley just coming through here. So Lindley, then Dobson. And it's going to be Kev behind. So it's Liam Dobson, then Cornfield Kev heading on the way up. So just dropping in with Dobson. So it's going to be Liam, the next rider over the line. Good riding, Liam. Well done, mate. Then it is going to be Cornfield Kev. Kev on his way into the line ahead of Rice. Rice just at the top of this climb, just on that steep upper section. So it's going to be Kev ahead of Rice. So Rice coming over, Chris Rice, and then it's going to be Andy Verrill. So Andy Verrill on his way up, and of course Andy from Belgium doing a great ride here. Andy, another of our riders who's been on the chain gang pretty much from the word go, and Andy Verrill pushing on to the top. Lots of people who've raced on the continent will recognise Andy's name, and he's worked really hard for a lot of riders over the years. It's good to see Andy, who now goes up and over the line. And going to take a check back, because next up is going to be Vin Donoghue. So Donoghue on his way to the line. Good to see Vin in action. Vin again, another regular Donny Chain Gang supporter and a rider. Another rider who has been with us from its inception pretty much. Great to see Vin out and riding. We're going to work our way through the riders. Next up is going to be the rider who led the women's ride. It is Emma Payne up on to the climb, putting in a great ride. I know Emma doing a set of training blocks for Darien Cycling Coaching today. So Emma with a ride up to the top, putting out plenty of watts on the way to the line after having done those hill climb interval sessions. And a big thank you to Emma for running the women's ride and leading that women's ride, as well as all the hard work getting everybody on to the start line as well. Next up is Whitlock, who comes through just ahead of Coleman. Coleman up on the steep section of climb. So Coleman is going to go through, just chasing Whitlock to the line. Big kick from Coleman. Then it's going to be Sean Ferron. Sean on this section of climb. Sean again, another of our regular riders on the chain gang. So good to see Sean in action. Not too many meters to go for Sean as he comes up to the top of the climb. He's going to be able to see the top coming. And once you crest the top, you know that you are in with a nice flat run in to that finishing line behind him. And the next rider is going to be Sonia Inslee, and then it's going to be the other John Allen, the other J. Allen, John Allen, heading for the line. So Sean Ferron, another rider, improving week on week on the Donny Chain Gang. So well done, Sean. And let's see where Sean comes in and across the line. So Sean coming in and across the line, the 66th place for Sean. Those riders come in. So a few times for our women. Tam coming through with a 63.45, 64.05 for Lisa Leverton. Emma Payne coming through with a 66.24 in 10th place. The 10th rider in is going to be Sonia Inslee. Our next rider on her way up to the line, just coming up on that steeper section now. Sonia, another regular on the chain gang. Good to see Sonia in action week after week. So great riding, Sonia. Another of the prolific Bolsover and District riders on here. I know many of them were out and riding in the team time trial run by the Team Sheffield yesterday. Lots of people using this as a way to get the miles in, get the distance in. Don't forget, we will be back with the Chain Gang in the new year, and we're going to be bringing you all of the action on the Downing Cycling YouTube channel. Make sure you give us a subscribe on there. Make sure you're on the Facebook page again, as Sonia Inslee now on her way in to the line, chasing Emma up to the line. And Sonia's time, 69 minutes, almost dead, 69 minutes, 0 seconds, 0.1, so 69.0.1 for Sonia. Next up is going to be John Allen, and it's going to be Keith Haywood. The two riders are together here. Keith just starting to push Allen on this final section here. Can Allen respond to this? So we're going to see a sprint finish between these two. So at the moment it's Haywood, then Allen. Haywood on the Zwift concept bike, so let's see what he's kicking out at the moment. 162 beats per minute at the moment for Keith Haywood. John Allen is behind now. What's John got in the tank? How hard is John working? John's 10 beats higher. He's up to 171. Has John got the power to close back down on Haywood? Haywood, though, starting to push in towards the line here. Who's going to get this kick? Coming behind by Allen. Allen's going for him, and it's going to be Allen who's going to get this. It is going to be Allen who gets this. Look at this. Allen has gone through in front, and it's Allen who takes this from Haywood. So Allen comes to just taking Haywood on the line there. And Haywood with a 70.05, a 70.05 for Allen. Both on identical times as they came in and through the line there. We're dropping back pretty quickly because we don't want to miss any of our riders on the way up here. Next up is going to be Carl Johnson. Carl, another of the regular chain gangers here, like Keith and John. And Carl on his way up here. As you can see from those forearms, Carl isn't necessarily the rider with the climber's spindly whippet-like legs and arms. He is one of our powerful riders here, kicking out 300 watts at the moment, pushing on here as he goes over the top as well. We know Carl's going to be relied on to give it beans all the way into the line here. Let's see what time he's going to record as he goes in and through. It is going to be, what's he going to get as he comes in underneath the line? We'll take a quick flick across to see what he gets. It is a 71 minutes and 0 seconds for Carl Johnson. Carl now with the warm down to the blue. Behind Darren Billings is on his way in. Darren, nice hat, mate. Darren, another regular Zwifter, and good to see Darren on the chain gang regularly. Again, another boss over rider, just rolling his way over that steep section on to the run in for the arch now. So Darren Billings, it's going to be the next rider in to the line. Let's see where he is in the overall standings as he comes in through. 71 minutes 49 seconds, 71.49 for Darren Billings. Behind him then it's going to be Owen Davis, Martin Bolt. I think we've got Kevin Wilson, Dave Finch on the hillside as well. There's probably more than that. We just have to make sure we can spot them. Not always the easiest thing when there are so many riders on the Donny Chain Gang. So Owen Davis, a regular on the Chain Gang. I'm going to say a massive thank you to Owen. We've seen him in action, whether it's flat, whether it's hilly. We've seen him helping out riders behind. He's another of our regular contributors on the Facebook page as well, doing a great job of keeping the gang together. Big thank you for all of your support. So Owen now on this final steep section. You can see the top in front. There's a nasty little kick. You'll just watch the gradient on the right hand side. Just as you come on this last straightening up section, it just pulls up a little bit steeper, up to 10%, so up to 9. Here goes the 10% section, just as if it wasn't hard enough. Up to 11 it goes. You know the top is coming, but you can really feel it in your legs. So up he comes. It is going to be Owen Davis now on that final section, going to push in towards the line. So Owen Davis from Team Cystic Fibrosis going into the line, and gotta say, well done, mate, fantastic riding. Let's see what time he pulls out for the climb there. So his riding time to the top 121.50 and 73.33 for the time up to the top of the climb. Behind Martin Bolt. You see the view that Martin has up to the top of the climb. Behind Martin is Wilson and Finch on the climb, so we'll drop in with Martin. So just watching Martin come around the turn at the moment. I want to say a massive thank you to everybody who has been riding on the Chain Gang. Everyone who's been watching, please make sure you tell friends about it. Make sure you subscribe. Russ and I did this to help people. It's quite simply what we did. We did this to help people. We've kept going all year, and we've been helped by your donations the way through. If you enjoyed it, if you've taken part, if you've ridden, if you've been watching the coverage, please do remember you can donate on the DONNYCHAINGANG.com page. You can get there with the links on the Facebook page as well. All of your donations go basically into helping cover some of the costs that Russ and I incur. Obviously, they don't come all, but every little bit does help at a time when things are very, very busy. For some, and very quiet for others, like myself, where there are no races, no events. So, please guys, make sure if you've got a little bit spare, chuck it in there. It helps us continue bringing you more and more better coverage, better rides, different routes, and lots more, especially making that chain gang go, as well as looking after our rides as well. Sponsors across the bottom, all of our companies that have been here from Bad Company to Muck Off, Halo Wheels, who've done Halloween, to the guys at OTE, as well as Grand Tour Coffee. Everybody on the way through who's supported us, August from 10, ATT Schwalbe as well. All the guys who supported Russ with his sponsors like Pinarello and the HMT Hospital, as well as Mule Cycling. All looking after our riders, looking after Russ. And of course, all of this brought to you by Matt Payne from Full Speed Events, and Russ standing, the pair of us co-producing and making it happen, as well as watch social media. So we're going to be taking that on into 2021, but this is the last ride of 2020, and just focusing in on our rider who's out there. Let's dive back into the screens with Martin Bolt. Now, Martin is the rider who has been the Yellow Beacon sidekick in red. He's been the man who was looking after the riders the most of anybody on the way through, and Martin Bolt, of course, a keen supporter of cycling and cyclists, based over in Kirklees, and great to see Martin on this climb, looking good on his way up here, and certainly looks to me like he's keeping it smooth to the top, and glad he's in with us on the final chain gang. So come on, Martin, last big kick up to the top. You can see it's starting to take its toll as he goes into this 10% section. So Martin on to the final section of climb here. We're going to just zoom out. Let's see what Martin's got in front of him. Well, you can see the top coming, so he's got a little bit of an ease. It leads back to 8%, and it'll kick back to 11. Behind him we've got Kevin Wilson, David Fitch chasing him. So Bolt now on his final section. You can see gradient easing down to 5%. It kicks back up to 8, and then sits at that for a little while, and then we're going to be up to what is a 12%, just to make life really tough. But do you know what? Once you got to the top here, there's no stopping you when you're going over the very top. So here comes our regular red beacon, the man who did it all the way around before the fantastic spreadsheet and rotor duties that's been covered off by Gail Phillips, and doing a great job. Don't forget, of course, you can get all the links for the Chain Gang on the Facebook page and on the fantastic website DONNYCHAINGANG.com, and that's been done by Mark Chamberlain. A big thank you, Mark, really do appreciate it. A big thank you to Mark Etches as well. The DCG logo you can see either side of Mr. Bolt's name on the screen. That is courtesy of Mark Etches at Blue Strawberry Elephant, and great to have him helping us. With a great man to work with, it has to be said. Now Martin Bolt coming through. What was Martin's time? Martin Bolt 78 minutes 22 seconds, 22.5 to be precise. Great riding, Martin. We're going to drop back down to Wilson on the climb here. 12 seconds clear of Finch, I think, according to this. 9 seconds clear of Finch now. Just going to take a little bit of a look back here. Just see Finch behind. Now, who's got the timing right? We're on this final section of the climb. Finch is really pushing on, actually, here. So, Finch currently at 3, nearly 4 watts per kilo. Finch is absolutely mullering the end of this. He's come around that turn 1. It's as if somebody's put nitrox in the engine and helium in his wheels. So, Finch now pushing on his way up here. And Finch working hard up to the top. Got the lightweight Mellensteins that only come from riding up the Alpe d'Huez repeatedly. And that is... it varies a little bit. You can get them anywhere from about 7 to about 27 times up the Alpe. The average is 13 cents. I think I got mine on about 11, if I remember correctly. Although it did kind of blur into one horrible, painful session of us going up the Alpe, hoping that the spinning wheel was going to give me something useful. Not just another pair of gloves. So Finch on those Mellenstein lightweight wheels, taking his way up to the top. It's the fastest set of climbing wheels on Zwift. Don't forget, of course, Halo wheels, supporters of the Chain Gang, the guys whose wheels are underneath Russ and myself, Matt Payne. Just got some fantastic ones to test from them on the mountain bike. Looking forward to giving those a good spin over the next few weeks, where we're not going anywhere other than local. Fortunately, I've got some great trails on the doorstep, so... and the edge of Sheffield means I've got quite a lot of trails to go at. It has to be said in the area. So on to this final section of climb comes Finch. So it's going to be Dave Finch. He's got a 16-second lead now on Kevin Wilson on the companion app and 25 on the screen. Not quite sure which one we'll go. We'll go with the 25 at the moment because Finch has definitely been pushing on this top section of the climb, this final section from that turn 1, the final turn on to the last section of tarmac before you come up on to the level. So Dave Finch on his way up. Don't forget, guys, make sure that you give that Facebook page join on the Donny Chain Gang, the DCG. Make sure, of course, that you add a subscriber to the YouTube channel if you're watching this on YouTube. And don't forget, of course, we're going to be bringing you all of the Chain Gangs through the coming year. Hopefully not too many clashing with real life events. I know there's already 1 or 2 on the calendar that do, but we're going to be bringing you the action all the way through. Finch now on his way up to the climb, and it's going to be virtual riding for many of us for a little while onwards. And Finch doing the business here on the Donny Chain Gang on the Downey Cycling YouTube channel. As Dave Finch makes his way up onto the plateau, you can see the gantry in front. Here it comes, and this is the final kick into the line. This is where everybody wants to get that best time that they can. Let's see what time he's going to get. Finch comes through 81 minutes 33 seconds on his way up and through, and still ticking along nice and comfortably as he goes around the turn at the top. Let's drop across to Kevin Wilson. Kevin now on that last section of tarmac, just seeing it rise up in front of him. Our helicopter just hovering overhead. You can see that ribbon of tarmac making its way up the hillside up towards that circle at the top. So Wilson now on to the 10% section here out of the saddle, 60 revs per minute at 147 watts at the moment. And you can see the rest of Watopia a long way below. There's not too much to see. The clouds obscuring most of the view below. You can just about make out some of the lower slopes of the mountain as we pan around off the side here, with the various hairpins and straights below, off the edge of the mountain below Kev, as he comes up towards the top, and our drone just dropping down alongside so we can get a good view of just how steep this is. 8%, which will rise to 12, and then it's up on to the flatter sections. So out of the saddle goes Kev, pushing on up on to the top of the hillside here, just taking over an hour and a half of riding here, and it's going to be a good time for him as he comes up and over the line. And Kev are working hard to keep the revs going here. Nice top hat again, mate. So Kev able to see the top of the tarmac now. It's going to level off as he comes up over the top. The most welcome sight is that of that gantry. I've seen it appear over the top. You know that it's going to get easier very soon. 7%, 6%. It soon drops down a little, drop down into that final flat section. It's only slight, but it's enough to accelerate you up. Or what time are we going to see from Kev as he makes his way in towards the line here on the Donny Chain Gang? Kevin Wilson now pushing on to that gantry. He's going to come across the line, and he's going to round off the Chain Gang for 2020. So fantastic stuff, mate. Well done, and Kev Wilson coming across the line to finish what has been a fantastic chain gang, and definitely a different way to end the year. So we've got to say a massive thank you to everybody who's ridden. We are going to head off and pop open a bottle of champagne to celebrate what has been the best things that we've had out of the year, and I hope you've enjoyed it as well. So from Dean and Russ Downing, from myself, Matt Payne, have a great new year, and we'll see you in 2021.